Honorable Ministers, Special Representatives of the UN Secretary General, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. It is my utmost pleasure to welcome you all to the 11th Ministerial meeting of the Global Counterterrorism Forum. Before getting to the heart of the matter, and as we observe the 20th anniversary of the 9/11 terrorist attacks, I would like to pay tribute to the victims of these heinous attacks, as well as to all victims of terrorism around the world. Please, ladies and gentlemen, as this year marks the 10th anniversary of the creation of the GCTF, it is the occasion for us to reflect on what we have accomplished together. Since the adoption of the GCTF political declaration in 2011, our common objective has been to reduce the vulnerability of people everywhere to terrorism by effectively preventing, combating, prosecuting terrorist acts and countering incitement and recruitment to terrorism. The framework of our efforts since then has been to create a pragmatic and action-oriented forum to reinforce international efforts to combat terrorism and violent extremism. Our universal doctrine is based on the United Nations Global Counterterrorism Strategy, with the aim of developing a strong partnership with the UN system. Our innovative recipe is to combine political leadership with expertise from practitioners. But if this commemoration is a motive for celebration, it is most importantly a moment to objectively assess the extent to which the GCTF has succeeded in meeting its commitments. In order to answer this, let me share with you some figures. The GCTF has held a total of 232 meetings, with an average of 23 meetings per year, held under the auspices of the forum's various working groups and initiatives, in addition to coordinating committees and ministerial meetings. More than 8,000 participants, representing a wide range of stakeholders, have attended these meetings, including experts, practitioners, the private sector, civil society, and academia. GCTF worked with more than 100 non-member countries, international, regional, and society organizations. The 40 framework documents, consisting of good practices memoranda, action plans, and toolkits, were conceived as a common asset on key dimensions of counterterrorism efforts. The GCTF has succeeded in building consensus on emerging topics, paving the way to other international organizations, in particular the UN, to shape the needed norms to structure the international community's actions. The work that has been done, following an anticipatory approach on foreign terrorist fighters, border security management, new information communication technologies, and countering terrorism financing while preserving civic space, are significant examples, among others, on which the GCTF demonstrated its commitment, pioneering leadership, and useful contribution. Moreover, we are pleased to note that many stakeholders on the international, national, and local levels have already taken ownership of the GCTF's documents and followed their good practices. The three GCTF-inspired institutions have emerged as privileged partners and efficient mechanisms for the implementation of the forum's good practices and recommendations. I'm talking about GCERF, Hidayah, and IIG. They have contributed to strengthen the impact of the GCTF's framework documents while increasing the scope of their reach. And I would like to seize this opportunity to recognize their valuable contribution and support to the GCTF. In terms of management, the GCTF has established itself as one of the most efficient structures with regard to the resources dedicated to its activities in relation to its achievements. I would like to take this opportunity to express our gratitude to all the actors who have contributed on a voluntary basis to support the activities of the GCTF and to all those who have served with the administrative unit. Thanks to all United Nations stakeholders, the GCTF has been able to steadily develop a strong and constructive partnership with the UN by collaborating on joint initiatives, contributing to framework documents, and being part of almost all GCTF efforts. Particularly, the establishment of the UN Office for Counterterrorism and the development of Global Compact were a milestone in the consolidation of this partnership, of which we are particularly proud. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the GCTF is without doubt becoming a central actor in the international architecture for preventing and countering terrorism and violent extremism. It is offering a unique added value to global efforts in this regard. The commitment of the GCTF members was strong and their achievements were bold, setting the bar high for future expectations in light of the evolving terrorist threats across the world. As a matter of fact, our fight is not over yet. Terrorists continue to adapt their tactics to redeploy, seeking safe havens, harboring territorial ambitions, and seeking new recruits among vulnerable individuals and communities. Africa is becoming the region of choice for terrorist groups. The continent has the most alarming indicators for the proliferation of groups, at least 27 entities based on the sanction list of the UN Security Council, and they are responsible for a 9-fold increase in death in 5 years, from 1,394 in 2015 to 12,519 in 2020. In the face of these changing terrorist threats, the GCTF embarked in an anticipatory and inclusive consultations to shape its strategic vision for the next decade, 2131, which we will be endorsing today. This strategic vision reaffirms the GCTF's core identity and values, which are consensus-based, small, apolitical, informal, inclusive, and ahead of the curve. This strategic vision provides guidance to increase the forum's reach and inclusiveness, particularly at the regional level. Strengthen the forum's strategic partnership, including with GCTF-inspired institutions and the United Nations. Ensure the sustainability of the GCTF activities and further promote the results of the GCTF and their practical use at all levels. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the Kingdom of Morocco believes that the effectiveness of the forum depends on the practical commitment of its members. As such, and as co-chair of the GCTF for 3 consecutive terms, Morocco has relied on the vision of His Majesty King Mohammed VI on counterterrorism, on the proactive and effective comprehensive national counterterrorism strategy, and on the expertise and best practices it has developed over the years. On this basis, Morocco has spared no effort to set an example, taking into account both our responsibilities and our capabilities. Thus, since 2011, Morocco has participated to 191 GCTF meetings with 720 participants who have shared their expertise and experience in an open and constructive spirit, helping shape the consensus-based approach of the forum. In addition, Morocco co-chaired the FTF working group with the Netherlands and co-led several initiatives. In fact, Morocco co-led 4 of the 13 initiatives launched by the forum, namely border and security management with the United States and the UNCCT, homegrown terrorism and terrorist travel initiatives with the United States, and measures to combat terrorist financing while preserving civic space with the Netherlands and the UNOCT. Last but not least, my remark would not be complete without thanking all our co-chairs and co-leaders throughout Morocco's various mandates, and of course, thanking our Dutch and Canadian co-chairs for the symbiotic working relation we have had so far. This commitment that we share with you is a call to all members who wish to do so to fully invest time and resources in the work of the forum. Your involvement will be essential, particularly in a context where the threat posed by terrorist groups in the world in general and in Africa in particular continues to evolve. Africa, which remains a regional priority for the forum, is home to several key issues for the GCTF: preventing and countering violent extremism, capacity building, rule of law, nexus between terrorism and transnational crime, and the use of emerging technologies by terrorists, to name a few. In a word, the challenges ahead are substantial. Before concluding my remarks, it only remains for me to thank you all for your efforts, past, present, and future, and to congratulate you on a successful and meaningful first decade of work. Let's go to work for the next decade. I thank you.